As a real estate team leader, one of the things that we're always looking to do within our organization is get agents into production faster. We've had agents in our company come in, do our training program, and do 5 million in volume within their first 90 days. So what we do works. And in this video, I'm going to be comparing what we do and doing a live reaction to Kevin Ward's video on his prescription for the first 30 days as a real estate agent, and ultimately come up with the perfect combination of what we do and what he does to supercharge the beginning of your real estate career. Hey, so for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Danny Gould. I'm the CEO and founder of Selling Silicon Valley and Legendary Agents. Over the last 8 years, I've done over $200 million worth of residential real estate sales. And like I mentioned before, our real estate team prides ourselves on our onboarding program. It's one of the things that we've taken a lot of time to design and to really perfect over time. And the goal is, once you are done with that training program, to be able to go out there and sell homes immediately. We've had agents come into our program and do $3 million, $4 million, $5 million in volume in their first 90 days. And I'm really curious, I'm going to be doing a live reaction right here to a real estate trainer Kevin Ward's video on what he prescribes agents do over their first 30 days and compare it to what we do here at SSV and come up with a strategy for you that's going to help supercharge your business, kind of take the best of both worlds here. So I'm going to give you a little bit of what we do, going to give you some of what he does here, and hopefully between two of us, we come up with something super powerful.
So in this video, it's how do you approach your first 30 days in order to succeed fast as a brand new real estate agent? So 3 keys that we're gonna talk about, and we're gonna break it down of how do you actually spend your day every single day for that first 30 days. So first is, if you wanna succeed as a real estate agent fast, the very first thing you do in your first 30 days when you start day 1 is you commit to be the best. Now, this is not for most real estate agents. So just so you know, I don't train in a way that is of interest to most real estate agents, because I don't train amateurs. I'm not interested in working with agents who are just interested in making a little bit of money, doing a deal every now and then. So I only train agents that are committed to greatness, that are committed to being the best in their market at what they do. So I believe if you're gonna succeed, you have to commit to be the best. So why is this important? Well, 1, because it puts you on a trajectory that's gonna be there. But here's what happens. The moment you commit to be the best in the market at what you do, everything changes about you. And when you change, the way people react and respond to you change. So a lot of new agents ask this question, well, like, how do I get credibility when I don't have a track record, I don't have stats? How do I get people to hire me? Because I'm brand new, I don't know what I'm doing, and how do I get them to hire me? And here's how. Because you show up the way the best in the market show up, even though you're new.
All right, so a couple things that he said here that resonate and that you should really take to heart. Number 1, be the best. My version of that, or SSV version of that, is if you want to get paid like a pro athlete, you got to act like one. And so what does that mean? Well, if you're Kobe Bryant, what did Kobe Bryant do? He was the best. He was there on game day. He was there before the game, drilling his jump shot. Won a lot of games. He did a lot of damage during the game. And then after the game, he'd be the last guy off the court continuing to drill his jump shot. And so what is the real estate version of that? Well, if you want to be good during game day, AKA during the listing presentation or during your buyer consultation, if you're a brand new agent, one of the things that you should really be spending and focusing a lot of time on is building your skill base, is working on your craft, and not just like doing it once and then letting it fall by the wayside, but being relentless with the practice, being relentless with the skill building. If you want to get paid like a pro athlete, if you want to get paid like Kobe, you got to act like Kobe. You got to show up before the game, during the game, and after the game. Relentless pursuit of greatness is the only way to get paid like a pro athlete, or in this case, a professional real estate agent. Now, the other thing that Kevin just said here that really resonates with me is the concept that I talk about a lot, is that people don't care about your accolades. When you're just getting started, one of the biggest limiting beliefs that I see is that, well, I don't have a track record, therefore, right? So we already eliminate ourselves from certain conversations, or eliminate ourselves mentally from being able to achieve or do certain things because we don't have a track record. Well, that's a massive mistake because the consumer doesn't know that you're new unless it's painfully obvious that you're new. The only thing that you could do to show them that you're new is not show up. So what he's talking about is doing activities. What I talk about all the time is activity is what the client is attracted to. If the client sees that you are active, if your sphere of influence sees that you're active on social media, hey everyone, out here today, knocking on doors, trying to find a home for my buyer. You may not have a buyer, right? Go steal your neighbor's, the guy at the cubicle next to you, go steal his buyer. Be like, hey, is your buyer looking in the neighborhood? I'm going to go look for listings for your buyer. So I have a buyer all of a sudden, right? And I'm walking the neighborhood and I'm going out here and I'm dropping flyers on behalf of this buyer. Your sphere of influence doesn't know it's day one. If you're relentless about your posting and you're relentless about your activity, the consumer, the customer is going to be super attracted to that. And they're going to think that you are an expert because activity is a magnet and it makes people want to work with you. Very insightful.
And you can do that. And if you're not good yet, you can get good quickly based on the other things I'm going to share with you in just a second. But first is you have to commit to be the best. Because what happens is that quest to be the best that changes the way you approach your business on a daily basis. You're going to work harder. You're going to be more intense. You're going to be more passionate. You're going to have more conviction. And when you have that and you talk to a prospect or you talk to a lead, they're going to hear you different because they can hear the intensity and the commitment and the passion in your voice. They see it in your body language. They see it in the way that you show up, the way you perform, your consistency, your integrity. Everything changes when you do this. You're like, well, what if I'm not the best? Well, you're on the quest to do it. So think about being the rookie of the year. Okay, in sports, they'll give a rookie of the year award. Well, is the rookie the best in the league? Is the rookie the best? Probably not, but we recognize that because they're on that quest to be the best. Now, what can a rookie bring that most veterans do not bring? And here's what they bring. They bring heart. They bring hunger. They bring drive. They want it so bad. They show up with 120% every day. See, the rookies that make it, the rookies that win Rookie of the Year, they play harder. They know they got to scrap and fight everything they get. And when you come into real estate, if you're coming in going like, yeah, I'm cool, I'm good, I'm gonna crush this, and you come in trying to look cool and you try and thinking it's gonna be handed to you on a silver platter because of something you got in your background or something like that, good luck with that, but you're probably in for a rude awakening. So I want
This resonates a lot with me because when I started in real estate, I was exactly the guy that Kevin's talking about. And I did no deals for my first 4 months. I came in with this ego thinking, I'm going to do $1 million in GCI my very first year. I'm going to be the best of the best of the best. And I don't need any coaching. I don't need any training because I'm going to do it all on my own because I'm the best. Well, that was the case for about 4 months until I realized, hold on a second, I don't know anything about this industry and I really need help. And it was at that moment that I turned to another agent in my company at the time, at the brokerage at the time, to help me. And I basically joined her team and together we did a lot of deals together for about a year and a half or so. But I had to let go of that ego. You see, that ego actually kept me from unlocking the greatness from within. So what he's talking about right there is absolutely true. If you come into this business with ego, you are in for a rude awakening.
Here's what you can control. You can't control this fact that you don't have stats, that you don't have a track record, that you've never done this before. You can't control that. But here's what you can control. You can show up with a higher level of commitment than anybody else in your market. You can do that right now, today.
And that's it right there. Is as a new agent, if you just show up and you're doing the activity, like I'm saying, do activities and build skills. Build skills, do activity. That's all he's saying here right now. If you can commit to doing those two things and doing it on a day in and day out basis and with full conviction and knowing that activity and that skill building will yield results in the future. So you're not getting paid for right now. It sucks day or week number 3 of door knocking when you haven't gotten a paycheck yet. And you're like, fuck, when is this ever going to end? When am I going to make some money? Well, that's when most people give up. And that's exactly what he's saying right now is you've got to just show up with the full confidence that it's going to happen for you and do everything in your power, both from a skill building perspective and an activity perspective to make that a reality. All right, let's move forward to the next thing, training.
And that is this, and these are things that are never talked about in training. Number 1 is train as if your life depended on it. I'm going to do it again here. train. There we go. Train as if your life depended on it. Now, I'll make a promise to you, and that is, if you train the way I'm about to share with you, you're gonna blow everybody else out of the water. And the reason is because most people won't do what I'm about to train you to do. What I'm about to share with you in the next few minutes will absolutely change the game for you, change the trajectory of your entire career, because nobody else in your market, nobody else in your office, no other new agents, no other rookies, none of them are gonna do this. And that is, I want you to train the way a professional athlete would train for the Olympics, and I want you to do it for the first 30 days. That's it, first 30 days. So here's what you do. You're gonna spend 5 hours a day training. Your first 30 days, you're gonna spend 5 hours a day training, and you're gonna spend 5 hours a day playing. This is preparing for the game. This is playing the game of real estate.
Yeah, this is pretty similar to what we encourage our agents to do during SSV University. It was formerly 10 weeks. We've now condensed it to 2 weeks for existing or experienced agents, but 6 weeks for new licensees. So for your first 6 weeks, you are doing about 4 to 6 hours of training activities a day. And then the rest of the day, we're like, hey, that's 4 to 6 hours, but what happened to the other 2 to 4 hours or 6 hours of work? During those times, we want to be playing. And so I'm assuming what he's going to say here, because I've not watched this video yet, but I'm assuming when he says play, he's talking about prospecting activities. So play like a pro, like an athlete. So game time versus preparation time. So let's see if I'm right there.
So you're gonna be on the job. You're not gonna spend, you're gonna actually be in the game right away, because you get your license, you're with the office. If you've got your license, you're ready to go, then you're gonna spend half of your day preparing, half of your day training, and half of your day playing the game of real estate. So here's how you do it. First hour in the morning. Now here's how I would look at it. I would do a 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. would be my schedule. Now, if you want to go 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., that's cool. If you've got, kids or school, children at school, whatever, you got to work around this. You figure it out. But here's the way I would approach it. 12 hours a day is how I would schedule my day. And for the first 30 days, I'm committing that I'm going to be in the games 12 hours a day. That it gives you time for breaks, it gives you time for lunch and all of that. But from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., I am going to be committed to becoming the best in my market at what I do as a brand new agent.
When you watch some of these documentaries about professional athletes, you see the highlight reels on Instagram, or you might see the highlight reels on, HBO, right? We got the Hard Knocks or whatever the show is. Those are the highlight reels. What you don't see is the relentless determination. You talk about greats like Tom Brady. Tom Brady, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., that would be a light day for him. So if we want to get paid like a pro athlete, we've got to act like one, and we've got to be willing to sacrifice like one. I can tell you, I had a very similar schedule when I first started in real estate, and I still do. To this day, I am working a minimum of 12 hours a day. And of course, there's breaks in there. There's lunch. I also work out at that time, but I am at 5:30 in the morning. I am on my computer working on the business, and I am not letting go of my computer till 7:30 or 8 p.m. at night. And in those hours, the only thing that I take a break for is to go to the gym, which is usually a 2-hour break in the middle of the day, and lunch. And that's about it. So what he's telling you here is basically a schedule that I have mostly stuck to over the last 8 years.
This is going to accelerate you like nobody's business. Here's how you're going to spend your day. The first hour of the day, you are going to do nothing but work on your scripts, which means you are going to chant your scripts and you're going to role play. You're going to get a role play partner in your office. You can do it on our Yes Masters Real Estate Success Community Facebook group. And your coaching, get role play partners. Okay, it can be a family member, a spouse, whatever. But get 1 hour a day. You're going to spend probably half of that time chanting the scripts out loud, and then you're going to spend half of that time actually role playing it. And then after you do that first hour of the day, then for the next 4 hours, you're going to do 2 things. You're going to prospect, and you're going to do lead follow-up. That's how you're going to spend the rest of your morning. All right. So from 7 to 8 a.m., I'm doing scripts. I'm practicing. I'm preparing. You're mastering it. So who am I going to talk to today? I'll talk about that in the next video of how to get listings, how to get deals fast as a real estate agent. But starting out, whether you're prospecting people that you know, your personal circle, or expireds, or for sale by owners, or whatever you're prospecting, I'm going to spend the first hour of the day warming up, practicing the scripts, getting it in my head, getting it in my heart, getting it ready to go. And then I'm going to spend 4 hours talking to people, prospecting. That's where the money is. You want to make money fast in real estate, the more people you talk to, the more business you're going to get. You talk to people, you ask for business. So you warm up, you train on the scripts, and then boom, I'm in the game. prospecting. Spend 4 hours a day prospecting and doing lead follow-up.
Yeah, I was prospecting for about 6 to 8 hours a day when I first started in real estate. I would do roughly 2 to 3 hours of expired and FSBO calling in the morning. Then I'd take a brief break and then I'd go out and I'd door knock for usually 2 hours. 2 to 3 hours, depending on the day, but it was usually about 2 hours. And then I'd get pretty tired. And then I'd come back to the office. I'd have like a boba, cause I freaking love boba, or like matcha tea or whatever when I was being a little bit more healthy, but normally boba. And then I would do lead follow-up in the afternoons, cause that's when most people would pick up for me on the follow-up side of things. So yeah, I mean, what he's saying here, that's kind of like the bare minimum. You know, if you're getting started as an agent, 4 hours prospecting is like the bare minimum that I would recommend. And if you're not doing that, then you don't want to be the best, is what I'm hearing him say, and I would agree.
So that if I'm generating a lot of leads, by the end of that first couple of weeks, I may be spending 3 hours in prospecting and then an hour in lead follow-up. If I don't have enough leads to follow up on, then I'm going to spend that rest of that time prospecting.
Yeah, it's at this point, you know, at a point, there will be a tipping point where you almost have to do no prospecting and it's all lead follow-up. And that's okay. That's actually the best position to be in, where you no longer have to call cold leads. But that takes time and that takes years to develop. You know, that didn't happen for me until like 4 or 5 years into selling real estate, where I never had to call another cold lead in my life. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. And what he's saying there is absolutely true though. Because at first it's going to be almost all prospecting, like 3 hours and 59 minutes. And then you're going to start to see an equilibrium start to form where those scales balance out a little bit.
All right. So I'm going to prospect and lead follow up 4 hours a day. And then when I'm done with that, so that's going to be from 8 to noon, right? 7 to 8, I'm doing scripts. 8 to noon, I'm prospecting, and then I'm doing lead follow-up. At noon, I can take a break. I can go have some lunch or whatever. It's going to come down to this other hour, which I'll get to later. And then after I get back from lunch, I'm going to spend 2 more hours doing one thing. Working on scripts, working on the conversations that are going to make you money. Prospecting scripts, lead follow-up scripts, pre-qualifying scripts for your talking to sellers before a listing presentation, the listing presentation script. All the objection handlers is spend 2 hours a day in the afternoon doing nothing but practicing those scripts, chanting them, reading them out loud as fast as you can, just getting through there, and then role play them or practice them with somebody.
So one of the things that he's saying here that is absolutely true is dialing in your scripts will be the fastest way to cash for you at the beginning. Because one of the mistakes that a lot of agents make is they get right into dollar producing activities. But the biggest problem with that is that the second that someone says, yes, I want to sell my house, they go, they don't know what to say next. And so what's the point of doing all of this prospecting if you don't know how to take someone from who says yes to the finish line, you know, or how to take someone that says like, yes, but, and then gives you an objection even harder and take them to the finish line. I have this really funny story. When I was just getting started, one of my 4th door knocking excursions, I ended up getting a listing lead and I had no idea what to do with them because I didn't have my scripts. I didn't practice my scripts. I thought I could do it all like based on charm and good looks, right? I was like, oh yeah, I could do it all, right? Like I was an egomaniac. And so unfortunately what that did was it caused me to have to learn the hard way that like, you can't just wing it. You have to know what you're going to say in those situations, because in the moment, the anxiety and like all of the different questions and thoughts that are flowing through your head, they're going to drown out all of the rational thinking. That's what Kevin's saying. That's your jump shot. Your scripts are your jump shot. So if you're not drilling that on a daily basis, what's the point of prospecting? Because if you prospect and you don't know what to say, you might as well not even show up.
2 hours a day in the afternoon, I'm going to do more work on scripts. This is going to be hard, right? You're going to you have 3 hours a day? I mean, how much does the average agent spend practicing scripts? Somewhere between 0 and 5 minutes a month. And I'm not kidding. You want to be great, you want to be successful, you commit to be the best, and then you do what the best do, and that is you train like amateurs don't train. Pros train, amateurs complain, all right? So do that. And then after I'm done with that, I'm going to spend 2 hours developing and implementing systems and strategies on my systems and my strategies for running my business. Okay, creating a lead follow-up system, creating your personal circle system, creating your listing and presentation, your pre-listing process, your transaction process.
Now, the great thing about agents who join my team is that they don't need to develop these things. They're already in place. And this video was shot 4 years ago, and probably almost 5 years ago now. And the entire industry has changed significantly since this video was shot. If you are an agent getting into real estate in 2023 and you are not considering joining a team, you're doing yourself a massive disservice. You see, the people who don't join teams, again, the only reason they don't join a team, it's the ego. It's the same thing that kept me, that got in the way for me. Same thing for those individuals. So if you're there, sitting there right now and you're like, oh, I don't know if I should be on a team, this or that, at least go interview with them before you make judgments. Because most people who are not joining teams, they're already making a judgment that they're too good to join a team. When in reality, a team could be the very best thing for you, because instead of working on systems and strategy, you could be refining your dialogue, and the team would be feeding you with these systems and these strategies. And then also probably business opportunities too, which is going to help generate more revenue for you in the short term. Last point here on the scripts thing that I was just reminded of, one thing that Kevin didn't touch on, and something that's worked really well for me on the script side of things, is on the way to the gym and on the way back from the gym and everything. So during my scripts practice time block, I would actually record the scripts into my voice memos, and I would listen to the scripts on my way to and from the gym, to and from work. And I did that, and to and from like appointments and stuff, to and from my farm where I was door knocking. So in the car the entire day, during my work day, I would be listening to these scripts day in and day out. And that hearing the scripts and then reciting them back at the same time with the audio track. I don't know what it is about like muscle memory or like mind memory, whatever you want to call it, whatever pathway that is, that mind, audio, and talking pathway, whatever that is, it works really, really well, at least for me. You might have a different experience, but reciting the scripts into a voice memo thing on your phone and then listening to it over and over and over again on the treadmill, doing cardio in the morning, whenever you get an opportunity to listen to it, goes a long way in terms of cementing that script into your mind.
You're going to have to be learning a lot of stuff and doing that. In the description of the link below, you can get access to my Agent Power Launch online course, which will help you with all of this. It gives you not only the scripts, but it'll then help you set up the systems and the strategies you need to do that. So 2 hours a day, I'm going to be working on watching training videos, learning how do I set up the systems, the transaction checklist and all that kind of stuff so that I can make my business work, because you're going to be generating leads, getting appointments, and then going out and getting listings, right? And then 1 hour a day is going to be spent doing, I'm going to call this doing office stuff. Now, what is office stuff? Well, it's going to the MLS. It's going to the board of realtors to go do whatever you got to do. It's dealing with stuff with your office. It may be dealing with some administrative stuff. Okay, that is 8 hours a day. You go like, what if I...
So one of the things that he is missing here, in my opinion, is client development hour. That's what we call it. He's calling it checking the MLS, but he's looping that into everything. If you are working with buyers, it is imperative that you block off a good amount of time to find off-market opportunities for your clients. And so you can put this into your prospecting time, but you're really cutting into your prospecting, because what you want to be doing is checking all of the platforms, all of the networks that you belong to. If your broker belongs to a network, I know that my team has access to like a couple of like off-market networks that like I get access to because we're, top 10% in our county. And so we have a Top Agent Network, which is a platform that we belong to. We also belong to a couple of different like exclusive realtor referral networks and stuff where people can post their off-market listings. You should be spending time on those platforms every single day so that you can be providing value to your clients. Now, first 30 days, you might not have any buyers that you're working with or have very few. And so you might not need that much time, but I would definitely build that into your ideal weekly schedule moving forward. It's something that it doesn't say. So maybe Kevin doesn't believe in working with buyers. I know that some coaches feel that way. I think that to have a well-balanced business, you should be working with both. But yeah, that is something that I would definitely keep in mind there. You want to have enough time to be looking for off-market opportunities. We call that client development hour here at SSV.
If I get an appointment, that's why you're working from 7 to 7, is now that leaves you 2 hours a day that you're going to do for actual appointments, whether it's showing a buyer and helping them buy a house or going on a listing presentation, whatever it is. This 1 hour here is designed for preparation. I'm telling you, it's going to be packed. And there's going to be days you're going to work more than 12 hours, all right? But every business owner I have ever seen, every entrepreneur that was successful, when they start their company, they ain't working 8 hours a day, my friend. If you're thinking 8-hour job mentality, work and get a paycheck, you're in the wrong business. The beauty of real estate is it gives you the opportunity to own your own business and to determine your own income, but you can't play the way a minimum wage person plays. You can't play with a job mentality, right? So what this does is this puts you on a fast track to building a foundation that will make you unstoppable. So what most agents don't do is most agents aren't willing to do this, the prep.
All right, so it's pretty obvious to me that he's going to go into like this like really long monologue about how you got to work hard, you got to work hard. Yes, we all get that. And if you're watching this video right now, it tells me that at least you're willing to take the time to like invest in yourself and like figure out what you need to do to be successful. So you probably have the right mindset. And I think he's just kind of like over explaining himself here. So let's keep moving on.
Believe that you can do this. Believe that you can have massive success fast as a real estate agent. I've got coaching members that in their first year are making $200,000, $300,000 a year in their very first year in real estate. They don't think like average agents think. They train like average agents don't train, and they believe at a level that most agents don't believe at. You go like, well, how do I get confidence? How do I have this belief that I can do it? And here's how. When you commit to be the best and then you train like this, that belief is just gonna come into your life.
This is 100% true. You know, just how your consumer base is attracted to activity, your psyche and your inner voice is also inspired by your activities as well. So don't underestimate the power of just launching forward. I can tell you that like I had a sure belief when I got into real estate. And by the way, this looks like basically like the end of his video where he's just going into like believe in yourself and believe in yourself, believe yourself. And yes, I mean, I think everyone to a degree that gets into real estate has a certain like sickness to them, so to speak, right? Like you believe in yourself so much that you are willing to forego the security of a W-2 situation and you're taking a risk on yourself. So I believe that if you're watching this video, there probably is some sort of inner belief in who you are, especially if you're watching this video, because you're taking the additional time to set yourself up for success. So I believe that there's belief there. But I think what he's really getting at, and this is a phrase that my mentor taught me, and he says, affirmations without discipline is delusion. And that is something that's really resonated with me over the years, right? So we can believe in ourselves. We can tell ourselves, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. But if you aren't doing shit and you're not disciplined enough to do the things that you need to do in order to succeed, then you're just delusional. And so if we get into real estate, there's that belief, but without the discipline, we only have delusion. You are stuck in a delusion phase of your career as opposed to the winning phase of your career, because we're either winning or we're delusional. So what he's saying is absolutely true. We got to pair the belief with committing to be the best in training, which, by the way, like those two things are just other words for like discipline. One of the things that I will say that I really do like about this video is that he kind of keeps it pretty simple. You know, we at SSV, we have our training program, and in that training program, we're teaching you a bunch of scripts and a bunch of dialogues, but we're really training you on how to have conversations with buyers and sellers and how to have consultations with buyers and sellers. Those are really two things, like how to set appointments with and how to have appointments with buyers and sellers. There's no need to overcomplicate it, because the truth is that, and what Kevin didn't say is that most agents spend their time worrying about the contract. When I see a new agent get into real estate, they're like, Danny, I want to like learn more about the contract. And I want to learn more about the MLS. And it's like, dude, the contract and the MLS happens at the end of like the journey with your client. There's so many things that happen before that phase that to worry about that is like worrying about whether or not you're going to get engaged to somebody on the first date. So there's so many different things that need to happen between the first time that you meet with the client to the time that you get them in a contract. The contract takes care of itself. You have a good manager, you have somebody that's sitting at your brokerage or a good team leader, like they're going to walk you through the contract and make sure that you don't mess it up. But like the important thing is that you can sell, that you can convert, that you can have these high level conversations with clients and getting them to the finish line. Once we get to the finish line, like someone else will take it. You know, you get them all the way there, like someone will be there to help you with the paperwork, but really focus on building your skills so that you can have high level conversations and convert buyers and sellers and put yourself in enough situations to have those conversations to begin with. And that's exactly what Kevin's saying. Practice your script so that you know what to say and put yourself in situations so that you have someone to say those things to. That's it. If you want our syllabus for SSV University, all the things that we cover in our university, it's a free one-page download. You can check it out in the comment box below. It'll tell you all the things that agents who are going through SSV University are learning during their first 6 weeks. If you made it this far in the video and you're not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and give us a thumbs up while you're at it. It costs you nothing, and it helps me get in front of more real estate agents just like you. This is Danny Gould, everyone of Selling Silicon Valley. Stay legendary, everybody.